not getting good at this. I tried something new again and it worked. All right, I'm going to bring my friends on again. There's Joe,
hello,
Anthony.
Hey, everybody.
Eddie is back by popular
Hey.
demand. Everybody's been asking for you.
Yeah, big up there, Eddie.
Hello, everybody. What's up?
Missing Persons Bureau.
Hello, Joe, Anthony.
You all better now?
Me?
You feel better?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I feel great.
Good.
What's up? Hello, Larry. How you doing?
Who are you talking to?
You.
I'm doing good. I got your pictures. I put them up, and we'll talk about them. That's what we did last week. I put up a bunch of
I know.
pictures.
I was on and I sent them, but you couldn't do it because too complicated, I guess.
Well, you send them while the show is going on. I don't know how to do that. I did it. How many things can I do at one time?
He just learned how to send you a link.
My memory pills came in today, and it comes in with they cost $200, and you got to take them, and they send a chart that they want you to answer a bunch of questions. Do you ever forget where your keys are? All that remembrance stuff. So they want you to answer all of that like today, and then a month from now, because they give you 3 months supply. A month from now, answer the same questions and see if it's improving. So we'll see. So maybe in a month or two, I'll be able to remember what I'm supposed to do.
When I ask you for the payment, tell them you forgot.
Yeah, right. And don't forget to take them.
Anthony, your brother was trying to come on. So far,
yeah,
not been successful.
So far, no good.
We're going to do the same thing. Do you know that we got double the amount of views last week than normal? Normal, we got double the amount. Maybe they like this kind of stuff. Put up pictures and then talk about the story behind the pictures.
No, maybe they were happy Eddie wasn't here.
A little something different.
Yeah, maybe because of me, I wasn't on. That was good.
It could be.
Yeah, that's all. I mean,
Yeah,
all right.
They didn't know beforehand. They didn't know about the pictures beforehand.
Yeah, that's true.
Where did I put them pictures you sent?
I don't know.
I put them
Pills
up.
ain't working. Pills ain't working.
The views are dropping.
They just came at 4:00, and I took one at 5.
And you lost your memory. I don't know.
Oh boy.
Vagines, Larry. Vagines,
All right. We'll start off with you, Eddie.
All right. That was at the Bronx Tale party at Gino's in the Bronx at Allerton Boulevard.
Yeah, Allerton Avenue.
Yeah, Allerton Avenue. We had a big deal.
The broccoli still on that place?
They're closed.
Oh,
They closed down.
Yeah, the Broccolis. I think they're last names.
Well, that's everybody was there except De Niro, but there was a good party, and I met Chaz, and I asked him the question: would you rather be loved or feared? And he laughed. But he's a good guy, man. He's a big, tall dude. Jesus.
Tall and skinny.
Yeah, nice guy.
You look pretty good there, Eddie. You look pretty good there, man.
Yeah, that was 90 years ago. How long?
Eddie was when he was down by me, living with me in my house in Florida or wherever the hell it was.
Florida.
In Florida, he was a good-looking guy. I think he's probably 5'8". He weighs about 155 pounds. Perfect guy. Good-looking guy. And
that's it. Avi Kai got caught up with me.
Old man time.
Get those pills and tape them to your mirror. Don't remember how you look.
Yeah. Another horse.
Okay. Here's another picture you sent.
That was Joe Ferraldo. That's Joe
Ferraldo.
Now, we were at the Palace in the Plainview, which is a big OTB restaurant, and a lot of horse people went there, and and this is before, I would say, a couple years before he got sick and he passed on. Great guy, man.
I told this story once before, I think, but I'll tell it again about Joe Ferraldo. He's a really, really good guy. And when he got out of the horse business, he moved to Florida and he bought a limo and he started his own limo business down there. But let me tell you the story about Joe Ferraldo, and I told it once before. I forget the horse I had. Anyway, it was the biggest bet I ever made on myself.
He had Enrock's Dream.
And maybe that was the horse that I'm talking about now. Yeah, I know. So what happened was I gave my father, this was early on when I first got to Yonkers. This was in the early, in the 60s. And I gave my father $10,000 because I won about 3 or 4 races with another horse, and I had this purse money. And I had this horse I didn't think he could ever get beat. And I gave my father $10,000 to bet on the horse. Now, don't forget, at that time, they were betting a couple of million at the track, and they were 20,000 people every night at the track, so it could handle that. And I got the 8-hole. Satch Werner had the rail. And Satch Werner, for those of you who don't know, was a stone front. All he did was just to the front and never look back, just keep right on going.
Like John Gilmore.
So, yeah. So, and Del Bickham at Monticello. So anyway, I tried to time the gate, so I stayed off the gate going around the turn, because if you're right on the gate and you got the 8-hole, the gate around the turn, it's going very, very fast. And then when you hit the straightaway, it just stops right back to your face. So they had a recall pole there right at the top of the stretch, and the starter, I was a few lengths off the gate because I was going to come charging and try to take the lead from Satch Werner, who had the rail before the first turn. So I'm staying off the gate, and the starter says, "Get that 8-horse up here. Get that 8-horse up there. Get that." So I come up, and sure enough, he's waiting for me, and I'm charging. Anyway, I hit the gate. He straightens out. I hit the gate. The horse bounces off the gate, takes a few steps, bad steps, comes back pacing. Now I'm a half a length off the gate. It opens up, and I leave. And I can't get past him in the first turn. Anyway, I wound up getting past him right before the quarter pole. And I told you I gave my father the $10,000, and so we hit the top of the stretch at Yonkers, and Yonkers is a short stretch. And I'm like 3-4 lengths in front. I'm looking at the tote board, trying to read it. I'm halfway down the stretch. I'm looking at the tote board, and he's 4-1. And I'm counting the money in my head, and all of a sudden I hear the crowd roar. And I look back, and here comes somebody. He was left-handed, a left-handed whip. And I try to get the horse going again, and it was like a 10-minute photo, and he beat me. He beat me by a lip, and I went up to the grandstand after that. And his father, Doc Ferraldo, I was sitting there, and I told him, and I asked him I says, "Now you're going to have to pay for me to get back over to Triborough Bridge." It was a quarter back then. And he was laughing. He gave me a quarter, and then Joe came up while I was with his father, and I told him, and he says, "Geez, why didn't you say something?" But anyway, that's Joe Ferraldo story. He's a really good guy.
Yeah, gentleman.
Yeah, good guy. All right, now here's another picture you sent me. This is when you were, for all of you guys out there who know that Eddie trains thoroughbreds. Here's when he was in the standardbred business. That was him, the trainer of that horse, and he put Walter Queso. That was in 20. This is 2017.
Yes, he broke his record. How many wins? 800 something wins. And then I came back with Hervé Filion with a horse called Winter's Tale, and he broke the record for the most wins. I got that picture somewhere. I don't know where. But this horse here, Camis, I bought for 12,000 at the Meadowlands sale, and he wound up being an open pacer. He was a nice little horse.
What made you get out of the standardbred business?
I couldn't do it no more. Larry, I can't go sit on a jock cart and go 5 miles in 10 degrees. I couldn't do it no more. And plus, I got that disease. My bones are very frail, where I could not hold the horse. I would snap my wrist. It's very hard for me to saddle a horse. That's why I got an assistant trainer to saddle the horse at Aqueduct, because the myeloma is a bone disease. And, I go for treatments, but thank God everything's under control. And, so that's why I got out of it. And, I just could not handle sitting on that jog cart 4 or 5 miles going in 10 degrees and try to uncheck them. And
Yeah.
You know how it is, Ira. You were in Monticello and you were in the Antarctic for years.
Yeah, I know. I was there.
Oh.
I know, Eddie. I know what you mean.
Yeah, so then I went to the thoroughbreds, and that's like training a fish to swim. It's not as hard as standardbreds. Not as hard at all.
You want to hear a funny story, Eddie, about your hand not having the strength?
Yeah.
I pulled all the tendons in my fingers playing football, and this is when I was older. I must have been 35 years old, and in the winter, when it was cold, I lost the strength in my right hand. So if we had a bad puller or something, or it was a recall or something, a lot of times I was in trouble.
Yeah.
With my right hand. Do you know I drove with a hook? Nobody knew about it. I got a metal piece of pipe, not pipe, but tubing, really like 3 times the thickness of a coat hanger. And I wrapped it around my wrist, and it came out the palm of my hand, and it had a hook on it like that. And that's how I held the lines, because, in the winter, if your hand goes,
yeah.
I really didn't have the strength no more to hold the horse. And I drove with a hook in the wintertime when it was bad, or I knew I had a bad horse, especially back then when they had recalls and stuff.
Yeah.
I had, pulling horse. I drove with a hook. People looked at me.
You're like Captain Hook.
Yeah.
You know how many times I went through that Yonkers fence?
I never did.
Couldn't stop this lightning herd. That freaking horse was a possessed devil. He had a mouth, you had to put barbed wire in him. I couldn't hold him no more. Jesus. No, but those were fun. Those were fun days. I mean,
those are stories you could talk about today.
Anything like this ever happen to you? You ever break a line or lose a line?
No.
You ever had to do that? I had to do that one time.
Wow.
Was that you up on top of that horse?
No. That's not me.
I've seen Hervé do that.
Hervé did it once. I think Henry did it once. It happens. Insco did it. I think that's Insco, right? I don't think that's Insco. But Insco did it. Yeah, it happens. It happens a couple of times. I know Jack Mosea did it. A couple of other guys did it, but it's scary because the bit breaks or line breaks, and you got no choice. You either have to sit there or do what just jump up and just try to control them.
I think the worst thing is when the overcheck bit breaks.
Well, most of the time, if a horse really leans in and the overcheck snaps, then his head goes down, the hobble goes below the knee, and that's the end of that.
That's
You
it.
go ass over tea kettle.
You're catapulted.
But that's some decision you have to make.
Yeah, you gotta be
And
careful.
can you imagine when the line breaks in your middle of a field of horses?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's tough, but these are the
Yes.
things that you go through.
Come back with a lot of stains in your underwear with that, boy. Woof.
Anthony, it don't look like your brother's having much success.
Now, you'll have to practice during the week for next Tuesday.
Okay, well, let him keep trying. But
Yeah.
I got my eye on him.
Okay.
Let me show you. I'll tell you a story about this. And let me, while that's up there, let me get this other picture here because they'll go together. This one right here will go together. The picture that's on the screen right now is Jake LaMotta and his wife Vicky. And Vicky, Jake LaMotta had about 7-8 wives. He had the first two he married were two Vickies. One went into the cosmetic business, and this Vicky here was married to a good friend of mine from Flushing called Jerry Hayes. And we kind of grew up together. And I had horses with Jerry. Jerry was a very, very handsome guy, very sharp guy. And he used to run junkets to Vegas way back in the 60s. And he was married to this Vicky. And they had a son. And I had horses with Jerry. And they had a son. And the wind-up was I got his son's license. And, the whole
Mitch
works.
Hayden.
So what happened was one day at Monticello, he's into race. I think this is how the story went. I'm not sure. It happened so long ago. He was into race, and Vicky called me up and said she was going to come up if I'd have a table for her. So I said, "You sit with me." So she came up, and who was she with? Jake LaMotta. I didn't know she was. They left. I didn't even know that she was. She got. I know she split from Jerry, but I didn't know she got married. Anyway, she marries Jake LaMotta, and I guess they were married. And so when they're up there, she says to me, "They're doing Jake's life story, and Robert De Niro is playing Jake, and he's living with us in our apartment. And we take him down to Little Italy every night, learning all the mannerisms and how to speak. And she's telling me the whole thing. And she says, "Now we need a favor. We need you and guys that from our area that speak like us with our accent, and we'd like you to be all in the movie as extras and who knows." So I told her, I says, "Look, I'm not interested." I says, "But," I said, if you want some guys like that, why don't you go that could do the job? Why don't you go? All the nightclubs in New Jersey and New York are owned by mob guys, and they're all my friends, the owners and the acts, and go, and they're all filming their acts because Atlantic City's opening, and you can get, you could see who you like. And that's what they did. And that's how they got this guy. That's how they got Joe Pesci. They looked at all the films and everything, and Joe Pesci went in for an audition. And this is Pesci and Frankie Vincent when they were kids. They all grew up together. And this was just many of the acts that they had. Pesci played the guitar, Frankie Vincent played the drums. And anyway, Frankie Joe Pesci got the part in Raging Bull. So that's that story. I had another one here.
Now, Jerry Hayes, didn't he have Carras stables?
Yes, yeah, that was him.
Correct.
That was
I,
him,
I
right?
don't know if he's still alive. I'd love to get a hold of him. I don't know if he's still alive. So if anybody out there knows Jerry Hayes, just let me know.
I know his son passed away young.
He did?
Mitch Haig, yeah.
Yeah, he had that good horse, Carras, right?
Correct.
Yeah, yeah. That was the last time I spoke with him. But I have no idea where he is now. Okay, let's get some interesting stuff here. Oh, I want to show this. This is the great Ronnie Pierce. He had to stop driving. Now he pans for gold. Number gold. That's gold. Pans for gold. He's having a ball out there where he is now. Okay. Let me see what else.
He still looks the same.
Those
Okay.
beady eyes.
When I was in Monticello, I met a guy up there called Frank Penice. I guess he was involved. I don't know if you guys know him or heard of him, but he was involved pretty good. And he opened up this club called Plato's Retreat.
Yeah.
And I think he opened it in right around the late 70s, and they ran it till 85, I think it was, something like that. And he gave me a lifetime membership because I think these are the rules. Yeah, you had to pay. Here it is up there. A couple pay $25 to get in, and yeah, you had to go in with a girl. The guy just couldn't go in. You had to go in with a girl. And then once you got in there, everybody just took their clothes off. They had a big pool in the middle, and it was just like one big sex orgy. And he got away with it for a lot of years. And then when they finally closed him down in Manhattan, he moved to Florida, and he opened up a place in Florida. And a couple of friends of mine wanted to go, and I wound up getting them in without a girl. And it was some place, Plato's Retreat. What a place! I went in and I walked out. That's not my thing.
Is somebody's TV on?
Not mine.
Not me.
Nope.
I hear.
Yeah, I hear it.
Maybe it's Dominic's TV.
No, it just went away. So whatever somebody did, it just went away.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
I'm innocent.
Me too.
You know who that is? Anybody know who that is?
Ron Stewart?
That's Alan Finkelson.
Oh, Finkelson, right? Yeah.
The publicity guy at the Monticello Raceway, the greatest publicity man in the world. Then
he went to Pompano, right?
Well, yeah, I'm going to tell you. I'll tell you the story. I never told this story before, but I think everybody in this picture, well, at least that the Alan, that's Alan with the tie on, and his wife is next to him with the pearls. That's his wife, and the guy next to Alan is Bobby Parker, who owned the Concord Hotel, and that's his wife. And Alan, what happened was, Alan had Bruce. That's cousin Brucey. Cousin Brucey up there one time, and word. How could I say this? But I heard that cousin Brucey and Alan's wife had an affair, and Alan found out about it, and he left his wife. He moved to Florida and became the publicity guy for Pompano Park. And he was great, and he was a great Yankee fan. And every night when the Yankees were in spring training down there, when they had their place in Fort Lauderdale. He had all the Yankees up there in the dining room every night, and that's how George. He got George Steinbrenner. He got everybody was up there. I met them all, and what I should have did was get a hold of Mickey Mantle's, get all his baseball cards, because some of them are worth thousands and thousands of dollars. But I didn't. And Alan unfortunately passed away. He had cancer, but right up to the end, he came to the track every night, even when he was really bad in a wheelchair. And that was that. It was a good.
Didn't Alan Finkelstein have a son, right?
He had a son. He had a daughter and a son. His daughter got married. I was the only horseman allowed that was invited to the wedding. His daughter got married, and when he went to Florida, they all went to Florida, and her husband was driving a motorcycle and got in an accident. She got killed, and the son was, I don't know how to say this. The son was I don't know. I don't know what happened to his son.
But he was a driver, wasn't he? A driver?
No. He was like had some kind of mental problem or something. He was like slow, just slow. He wasn't
learning impaired.
Learning disability.
Not bad, but just like I don't know what I don't know. But anyway, I don't know what happened to him.
I still hear that TV somewhere.
Yeah, the TV, somebody's TV. Is Dominic completely off?
Yeah, Dominic's not on. Yeah. Oh, here's by the way, Joe Guarino told me to mention this. See this? Remember this horse's foot?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Joe was the one that let me know that the rest of this horse, including the head, was given to the Godfather.
That's right.
This horse's head was the one in the bed.
The Godfather's head.
The Godfather.
No.
That's right.
So,
Larry, Christophe Clement passed away.
Yeah, I know. What do you have? Cancer of the eyes or something?
No, he had Mellis, I don't know, something.
Yeah, but somebody said it was in the eye or something like that.
Yeah, he had pancreatic. Yeah, he was on that. Yes, he didn't last too long.
Oh, that's too bad.
59 years old. Jesus, young.
He was 59?
Yeah.
Well, listen, I just want to mention this about HISA because there's a couple of things I don't understand, and maybe you do. The jockey who rode the winner in the Kentucky Derby got fined a lot of money for whipping the horse 8 times.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
The jockey that won the Preakness whipped the horse more than 10 times.
All right, I watched your podcast and I looked at the tape many times, but he was what they call fan whipping. He wasn't whipping the horse. He was just
That's what I said.
circulating the whip to the hind and over the top, to the hind over the top. But if you actually count from the 16th pole to the finish line, he whipped the horse about 4 to 5 times. He really did not hit him on the backside. Like I said, he was just fan whipping. That's what it's called. He just wheeled his hand to the withers, to the back end. That's. I know what I seen the podcast when you were.
No, I know. It's so fucking confusing to me. All this HISA stuff. I don't want to talk bad about him because I know my friend Freddie Hudson is.
Well, all I know is it's going to the Supreme Court, and I think HISA might be out of the picture pretty soon if it goes to the Supreme Court, because they were up at Finger Lakes, and that Lisa Lazarus was up there with her entourage, and they were explaining to the horsemen up in Finger Lakes that they're going to take this and do that and do this. And then she said that, but it might not be for a while, but if it goes to the Supreme Court, I don't think we'll be any, involved in the horses anymore.
First of all, they got no
So,
right explaining to the horseman anything. The horseman has to explain to them. They don't know
well,
nothing about the business. The
no,
horseman's supposed to
they were
explain to them.
explaining about the how much money they're going to take. Emerald Downs just got $4 million for their purse structure. HISA is moving in and taking $1.3 million out of the purse structure for their pocketbooks. That's like 33 something percent off the purse
33. It's more than
distribution.
that.
Yeah. So, it's terrible. I mean, and then this RHSA, they're fighting HISA. It's going to be. I think in a while, in the long run, they're gonna probably get rid
Well,
of this.
let me say this. HISA, for those of you out there that are listening that don't know, what HISA means, HISA, is the Horsemen's Integrity and Safety Authority. They were formed by the United States Congress in 2020. So the only thing I'm going to say, I don't want to say too much because I know Freddie Freddie likes what they're doing. So the only thing I'll say is that I'll repeat what President Reagan said. And President Reagan said that the 9 most terrifying words in the English language are, "I'm from the government and I'm here to help." That's the most terrifying words. And whenever they get involved with something that they don't know, everything gets fucked up. And that's what's happening here, I think. So that's as much as I'm going to say about HISA. In the beginning, I said a lot. Then I kind of backed off. But now it's just, I don't know.
It's getting to be where it's just like we had an incident happen a couple of weeks ago. A horse broke down on the track. Okay, now they brought the horse ambulance. The horse had a broken leg, could not move. They would not euthanize him on the track. I don't know how the hell they got him into the horse van, but they took
Why
him over.
wouldn't they euthanize him on the track?
Not allowed, because you could sue the track. Now they take it over. See, this is where they sweep all these fatalities under the carpet. See, I don't care, because I've been trying to. I went into the race office the other day, and I went crazy, and I told them that I'm going to run for representation of this racetrack and the horsemen. And if I do, I'm coming after everybody that is neglecting the horse's soundness. Not the enhancement drugs. That I agree 110%. But if you can't get a horse sound by using the technologies the trainers have learned, you don't belong in this ballpark, man. It pisses the shit out of me. I mean, you got to go. I just injected a horse's hock. I can't breeze him for 7 days. I can't race him for 14. I mean, come on. Will you stop with all this nonsense? I sent a tape to HISA. I think it was, I don't know if it was the Preakness. I think it was the Preakness of Easy Goer and Sunday Silence. From the top of the stretch to the finish line, they were head and head. And they were riding. But it showed aggressiveness, it showed ability, it showed talent, and it did not show abusiveness to win a race. 6 whips to a horse's ass is not detrimental to hurting a horse. So that's all bullshit, and I don't care. I mean,
They're extortionists.
They're terrible. They're fucking terrible. I
What
don't
is
care
it?
if they know. I mean, I've wrote to them and everything. I mean, but who the hell? They never want to. I try to get appointments and something, but they don't want to. So, but the
Here's a
hell with it.
picture. Here's a picture when I'm not sure what year it was. I'm not sure if that was one of my horses because when I had no license, I went undercover with Alan Sewall. That's Alan Sewall next to me with the black jacket, the sunglasses on, and I used to. He used to take me in the state. I think that's at Hialeah, and I would race under his name, and I think that might have been one of the horses I had. But then were the days when I didn't have a license. I was not licensed, and I was racing under Alan's name. I don't know what horse that was. I don't know. I don't know anything. I just know that it might have been. Might have been. All right, now I want to show you something. I got a letter the other day. Everybody knows. What is all that noise anyway?
I don't know
I
what
don't
that
know.
noise is.
I don't know if you're getting the feedback when you talk or something.
Because that's what it almost sounds like, a feedback.
There's
I don't
something,
hear it now, but when you talk,
there's
Yeah,
something
when you
on.
start talking, I hear it.
Nobody's phone is on.
No, mine's off.
no, it's my phone right here. I'm motor.
You know, it probably has something to do with your brother.
No, he said, I texted him. He said he's completely off.
What the hell?
Shut his link off.
See, whatever you just did, now the sound is off. Anthony, what'd you just do?
I was going to text my brother. I didn't do anything.
Well, the sound is gone now.
Yeah, it's gone. That's you. You're the culprit.
It's gone.
Me.
The sound is gone. You must have had your phone on or something.
No.
All right. Well, anyway, the sound
Yeah,
is
it's
gone.
off, so, okay.
It's gone. All right. Now let me. There was a guy. Everybody here knows that.
I just got a text.
Yeah.
There's an echo, and it's really annoying. That's
Yeah.
from somebody on the outside.
Okay. Now I think the echo is gone. Now. I think the echo is
Yeah.
gone. Could somebody? Let me go to the comments. Can somebody? Let's see. Somebody just type in Sundance. You're there. Is there still an echo? Is the sound all right? No, it's back again.
It's coming back again.
Every time you talk, Larry, it's feedback.
Yeah, and my phone is off. My phone is dead.
Something's.
Dead.
I don't know. Something is on.
I have nothing on in here.
Wow.
And it's when you talk, though, Larry, when you hear the voice itself.
Well, what are you going to do?
Anthony, did you get that thing I sent you with Michael Francesi?
What was it?
Huh?
What was it? The picture?
It was a tape about Michael, about politics, about Pagosi, and who she's married to, and
No.
Her
Where'd you
father
send
was a
it
mob
through?
guy in Chicago.
huh?
Her father was
How did you send it?
I
a mob
sent
guy
it
in
to
Chicago.
Messenger. Oh, you should see. It goes right down the line of
Yeah, no, I had
Kalmea
messaged you
Harris.
back, Eddie.
Kalmea
I
Harris.
messaged you back because you sent me a profile of yourself. That was it.
Oh, I picked the
That's
wrong
all
one.
I got. I didn't get anything.
And I didn't get nothing either, Eddie.
Well, Carmela Harris' husband is in charge of DLM, or the voting machines. Oh, you should see the whole line. You would love it, Joe. That's the one I was trying to send you.
Yeah, the video.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got the video. Yeah,
Send that to
incredible.
Joe. Send that to Joe.
It's something new.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Well,
incredible.
We knew that all along. We knew that in 2020.
Yeah,
No,
but
it
this
goes-
goes really into it.
He calls it the Democratic Mafia.
That's
Yeah.
the name of his book.
Yeah. You should
His
hear.
name,
I
his name,
could
his
not
name of his
believe it.
book is Mafia Democracy.
Yeah. You should hear it. Oh man, I couldn't believe it. That's the first person I was to send it to you, and you don't have Messenger. So I tried doing it to your email, but I'm like Larry. I don't know what the hell I'm doing.
Yeah,
I'll
I'll
look
try
at my
to get it
email.
off of Messenger and send it to him. Joe, you have email, so just text me your email address.
You know what? I was never on Facebook, so it seems like anything coming from Facebook I can't get.
Right.
I mean, everybody and their mother's on Facebook except me.
Well, send me your email address and I'll I don't think I have it.
A lot of people are still alive when Facebook came out, so I had to hide.
All right, look. What I'm going to do now. What I'm going to do now is put some of these comments up before we get into.
Yeah, get too deep into it.
Yeah. Let me see. This is your brother that wants to come on, but he can't.
Right.
He can't figure out how to
He
come
says
on.
by Tuesday he'll figure it out.
This is from Eric saying today's poll question: who would be on Rushmore's top 4 greatest harness trainers? Oh God! Here's my answer. There's too many, but just it would be like Barry Bonds in baseball. If you get the drift. It's
Yeah.
you understand what I'm saying. It's
A lot of asterisks.
yeah. So it'd be hard to say, because back 30 years ago everybody was just trying to create a level playing field, and it went from hay and oats to hay and oats and B15, and then they graduated a little more to baking soda, and then a little more, and then a little more, and a little more, and everybody was doing it, and then little by little, the racing commissions start catching on, and but they were years and years and years behind, and by the time they caught up to Epigen and everything else that they were using, they had synthetic stuff that they couldn't catch.
Yeah.
So it went on and on and on. So they would have to have a Hall of Fame for guys like Barry Bonds, and then another Hall of Fame for guys like Mickey Mantle and Willie Mays and Ted Williams. And so it's hard for me to say, and I really don't want to mention any names, because aside from that, even the ones that did what they did was still great conditioners and great trainers, and they just had to try to create a level playing field. Don't forget, the owners are funny, because they'll go to the trainer who's winning the races, and if you're not competing and you're constantly getting beat, and because the word gets around real quick, you know what's happening, and you just have to do what your neighbor is doing just to create a level playing field. And if you don't, you're going to wind up losing all your horses. You're going to go from one of the top trainers in the country to a nobody, because you just can't compete. So that's the problem with naming 4 greatest harness trainers. So anyway, that's as much as I got to say. Anybody else got to say anything about that?
Just too hard to pick 4 guys that will be straight. It's just too tough.
There's so many variants that it's impossible.
Exactly. That's the whole thing too. There's so many aspects to it.
Hey, Larry, you know what's going to help the horse racing game?
What?
Trump just is going to sign a new bill that the horse owners many years ago. Remember, I would say back in the 70s and 60s.
Oh yeah, tax write-off.
A tax 100%. Now it's 40. Remember all the big investors back then? They used to buy a lot of horses.
They stopped it in 1986, I think.
Yes,
They cut it out.
Now he's going to revise that bill, and it's going to be 100% the horse owners.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. I sent him that link. I sent it to you too. I sent a bunch of stuff to you, Larry.
Especially for these big money owners.
Those are the guys that at the end of the year say, "Listen, I got 150,000. I don't care if you finish last every week. Just spend the money."
Yeah, buy the horses. Yeah.
Eddie, David Arthur says, "Hope you're feeling better. Nice second you got the other day at Aqueduct."
Yeah, thank you, David. I feel good, and the horse raced well. And it's ironic. You see what happens. Last couple of weeks ago, when I raced against the winner, he finished last, and I finished fourth. And this week, this son of a gun, I don't know what the hell, he just ran away and hid. It's amazing, you know. So.
All right. Steve says the whole gang tonight. Yeah. Let's see. Gary D. What couple of tracks are doing the best handles? Well, the guy that can answer that, without a doubt, is Michael, and he's not here with us tonight.
He's on the 18. You got to wait till Thursday.
Yeah, he usually comes on with Freddie Hudson, but Freddie's in the middle of something that he has to handle himself, so he won't be on
the B team. We don't know this yet,
so we can't answer them questions. Okay, Eric, harness racing is wasting golden opportunity to use sneakers as the best NBA player marketing tool. He loves harness racing and best friends with Tim Dietrich. Well, I know that I can't talk about it. I know a little bit, but not enough to talk about it. So if Freddie was here, Freddie knows a lot about that stuff. And Siegelman, anyway, I don't know enough to talk about it. Okay, Gary D. Larry, you got over 2,000 yokes and growing.
Likes. You got over 2,000 likes and growing.
Oh, that's likes?
Yeah, likes. It's supposed to be likes. Typo.
Well, I guess that's good, right?
Yeah, it's real good.
Yeah.
Well, just keep hitting the like button, guys.
Yeah.
And here's Jesse Black. Let's hit the like button.
Like, subscribe, and ring the bell.
Okay, I met my bookie at Gino's on.
Okay,
you know about that, Joe.
Yep.
Yeah. David Arthur.
Anybody ever go to Enzo's in the Bronx?
Yes, that's my friend. That's Mario D'Abruzio's restaurant.
Enzo?
Yeah.
My cousin bartends there.
Yeah. You know Mario, right, Joe?
For years. Huh?
Joe, you know Mario, right?
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah, he owns it. That's his son-in-law's restaurant.
Enzo's?
Okay. Yeah, Mario's pretty good. I like Mario.
He lost his son too last year.
I know, I heard.
Yeah.
Joe, maybe you can answer this. Whatever happened to the beautiful woman, Mary, who worked in a race office at Yonkers, and her mom? They were
Terry and Mary were mother and daughter team. They worked there for many years. Mary was really nice. Terry were really nice people. She was, Mary was going out with Mike Metcalf. You remember Mike Metcalf?
Yeah.
From years ago, but I think she got remarried again. And Terry's husband passed away, and I don't think she ever did. But they were really, really nice. Really good people. They were in that race office for 30, 40 years, the mother. And Terry was probably there. I mean, Mary was probably there 25 years. Really good people.
All right, Robert says this is for Ed. We need a winner soon.
Well,
Here's-
you're not going to have a winner until June 12th when they come back from Saratoga. There's no racing for 16 days at Aqueduct.
Oh, yeah.
Sundance, I see you got a lot to say on coffee with Tommy Stiggs every morning. Boy, you're a favorite on that show now. Okay, I always thought Joe Guarino was on Mount Rushmore of best arm wrestlers of all time. Now I hear he had a he had a hook.
Hey, it ain't so,
Say it
Joe.
ain't so, Joe. Say it ain't so. Very good.
That was good.
That was a good one.
Yeah, but
How did he know
I
that
only
you were
used it
great?
in the winter months when I had a bad horse that yep.
Okay, Angelique. Hello, Larry, Eddie, Joe, and Anthony. Hiya.
Oh, Angelique.
Oh,
We're
hello.
trying to
Hello.
get your friend on here, Dominic, Anthony's brother, but I guess he couldn't figure out how
Next
to get on
Tuesday.
next Tuesday. Okay, David Arthur. My mother worked with Vicky LaMotta in the cosmetic business and Peter Hammond advertised in Manhattan. Well, that was Jake LaMotta's first wife. Jake LaMotta's first wife was Vicky LaMotta, and when they divorced, I think she started her own line of makeup or something. I don't remember. Okay, Steve. De Niro, I guess that's De Niro, got a terminal case of Trump deranged. So, yep, you're right there.
What a shame.
Yeah.
Joe, address this,
Jake
Christos.
Love-
His comments are all sarcastic digs at you. Last week he made a derogatory remark about your face. Too bad this doesn't have call-in feature. Well, yeah, but this one, Eric, this one was good.
Yeah, this wasn't the, this was, you know,
This one was
just
good.
goofing
Eric
around.
Guarino was the Mount Rushmore best of all. I don't even know how he knows that. How did he know that you were the best arm wrestler in Yonkers? I don't
He's
know.
always-
Maybe when we told the story with Michael Chance.
Yeah, but
That
that means he listens all the time. So Eric, we have to give him a.
We
gotta
made the
give him
peace last week. We made the peace last week.
Yeah, we made the peace last
Apologies
week.
accepted. That's water under the bridge.
But you know,
Yeah.
you see what he said here? Too bad this doesn't have a call-in feature. There was a podcast I watched the other night. I forget who it was, but he has a call-in feature. He says if you want to call in, and they have the number right there. And then somehow he gets the voice right onto the. I don't know, but I should look into that and have
I'll look
somebody.
into it.
Yeah, look into that. How you can put the phone number right on the screen, and then when they call, I don't know how he does it.
But thank you, Eric, for sticking up.
We're not gonna report nobody. Eric, ignore that guy who insults Joe. Yeah, but it's all straightened out. Thank you for your concern.
Yeah, we left off okay.
Okay. In his farewell letter, Clement stated that he had a rare aggressive cancer that started in his eye.
All right, you're right. Good.
Yeah, as I.
Okay, Eric, Reagan also said those women who are pro-abortion are all glad their parents were not pro-abortion. All right, Eric.
Shit.
All right.
I tell you, that guy Eric, he has some witty things he says, and he's on every week.
He's a witty dude.
Echo is gone. Now it's back.
Joe LaMotta have a horse farm.
Eddie, glad you're feeling better.
Thank you.
Gary D, as far as harness racing, Meadowlands, and Mohawk, as far as Flats, Belmont, that's Big A, Churchill Downs at Santa Anita, Woodbine, will handle, but only big days. Thanks for the good show. Okay, that was your answer. That was your answer to the Tuesday is the 18th.
Yep.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, let's go back to telling some
Pictures.
more stories. Let me tell a story about I started to say it before about my love for Frank Sinatra. And in my barn, I always had speakers and I always had the Sinatra playing. That sound is back again. It's terrible. There's Frank Sinatra. Yes.
He sent my father an autograph picture.
What a shame. What a shame that sound is on. I can't see it.
I don't know where it's coming from. I actually shut my phone off. Not muted it. It's off. I have nothing
I don't
else
even
in
hear
here.
it.
You don't hear it, Joe?
What does it sound like? A TV or something?
First it
Yeah, it
sounds
almost sounds like a TV in the background.
like a
muffled.
very low static
Yeah.
sound. Now it's gone. It's gone now. Anyway, everybody knows of my love for Sinatra, even from the time I was a kid. I just loved the way and it's amazing that almost every singer and every voice in the world could be duplicated by some actor or some comedian or somebody that doesn't impersonations except for Sinatra. But I have to tell you, there was a kid. And what happened was his brother Sal used to work for me, and he says he always heard Sinatra on my speakers in the barn, and he says, I have a brother that sounds just like him, and that's how this relationship started. So what happened was let me tell you a couple of stories real quick. I won't go into them. I'll just tell you a couple of stories. Now, I must have heard 500 Sinatra impersonators that try to sound like Sinatra. Not one even comes close. When I met this kid, I couldn't believe it. And what happened one time, we were at the well, let me tell you what happened. He four-walled a room at the Sands Hotel in Atlantic City, and the place was packed. After that standing ovation he got after the show, he got offers to play in Vegas, and Sinatra's lawyer nixed all them contracts. Everything got shut down, and then he tried to shut everything down that this kid was doing. His name was Jimmy Christie, and he was. They were some doubters, and I never forget the day we were at the Newport Hotel in the morning, and I was telling a guy about Jimmy, and he didn't believe it. So we went downstairs by the Seven Seas Lounge, and they had a swinging door to get in, two swinging doors. And I says, "You stay on one side of this door, and on the other side, I'm going to play one song that Jimmy sings and another one that Sinatra sings, the same song. You tell me which one was Sinatra." And he couldn't. He guessed wrong. That's how close this guy was to Sinatra. But we could never do nothing because Sinatra's lawyer would put threaten us with lawsuits and everything else. So what I did, I'm going to read you the letter that he sent to me. But before I read it, I'm going to show you what I did because now I was getting mad. And here's what I did. Let me get rid of this first. Let me get rid of this comment first, so you can see. So here's what I did. I took over the supper club. It was on 47th Street and Broadway, right in the middle of Manhattan. And I knew I couldn't name the show a tribute to Sinatra because they stopped everything I ever did. So what I did was I made these posters up, and I made about 500 of them up, and I put them all throughout the city. And in this poster, if you can see, all the lights around, all the yellow lights were composers and writers of all the songs Sinatra made famous. So instead of naming the show a tribute to Sinatra, I named the show a tribute to great composers. And to name the show, I've heard that song before. And that's how we got away with that. But let me read the letter that Jimmy sent me. I think this is it. Now let's see if I could read it. Okay, it's from Jimmy. And here's what he said. Hi, Larry. Good to see you doing well since your operation. I watched your latest episode today on YouTube and stated you might want to try expanding your topics. I don't know if you boy, that sound is really bad.
Yeah, it got worse when you came closer to the mic for some reason. I don't know.
Yeah, I hear static.
Yeah.
It's terrible. Let me try something. You know what it is? It's Joe. It's Joe.
How is it me?
Yeah, because when I eliminated you, the sound went away.
But I got nothing with me.
But whatever you did when you touched your phone, the sound got louder and louder and louder.
It's okay. I'm trying to read the picture. That's all I'm doing.
Okay. All right. Well, the sound went away now. Anyway.
I don't think it's me. I got nothing.
Okay. Well, the sound is gone.
Maybe it's from the watermelon.
Okay. All right. Let me continue reading this thing. I don't know if you think my story is worth a mention, so I'll send you my recording of Sinatra is the Champ, which you can play and listen to, and also send an update picture I created for my book, The King, the Pawn, and the Mob. Now, I'll stop right there because I just want to explain this. Jimmy made a recording and he named it Sinatra's a Champ, and instead of anyway, he changed the word, and it's a great song. He does a great job. See, that sound is back. Let me try eliminating Joe. See, it's Joe. It's Joe. When I eliminate Joe, the sound is gone. So whatever it is, I don't know what it could be, but anyway. Okay, so now he says, I also sent one song from the show you produced in Lodi at the Cameo. I got a right to sing the blues. That night, you spent over $40,000. That included a 40-piece orchestra and shot the show with 3 cameras using the best 1-inch quality videotape, which Jillian and his crew destroyed by fucking up the electrical system from outside the building. Included that night, you also paid for steak dinner for 225 people so I could have an audience to sing. If you want to include
If you want to more input,
call me at home. I wish you only the best. God bless Jimmy. Now, Jimmy, I just want you to know, if you're listening, that the email that you sent me, I couldn't, anything that you sent over the email, the songs were too long. Anything over 2 minutes, you can't send by email. So I received nothing that you sent by email except this letter. So I really want to play that song, Sinatra is a Champ, but I don't have it. I don't know how else you could send it. I know that we have that problem all the time, right? Right, Anthony?
Yeah,
Any,
but I might be able to send it through here like I did the other things.
all right. Well,
So
anyway, I don't know. I think you can send it WhatsApp. I think. I don't know. But all I know, Jimmy, is that I didn't get it. I'd love to get that song and play it, and I will. Uh, but as soon as you send it to me, so I just wanted to get that out of the way.
if he sends it to you, Larry, send it to me. I'll see what I can do.
Oh, Larry, I'm going to shut my mic off. Tell me if you hear any difference.
All right.
Because you're saying it's coming from me. I don't know where.
I don't hear anything.
I don't hear anything now. Joe, if you can hear me, we don't hear nothing. The sound went away.
Okay, well,
It's
It was-
starting to come back.
it's I shut it off and put it back on. It's been, the last minute it's been half on, half off. So it's no change, right?
No, there's no sound now. Now there's no the
But I
noise.
got the mic on. I'm going to shut the mic off for 15 seconds.
All right.
No, dead silence without the mic on.
Yeah.
And now I hear the static again.
You hear it again?
Yeah, it's starting to come back again.
Yeah, it's your speaker.
It's your stomach, Joe.
Maybe you have the volume up too much, Joe.
Yeah, that could be.
I put it up as you can't hear me, you said.
Yeah, lower it a little bit. That's probably what it is. It's oversaturated.
Yes, it's Joe.
Yeah, it's much better.
How's that?
No, I hear it. No.
We still hear it, but it's better. We still hear it, but it's better. Okay, let's get to some interesting stuff here. What can I get to some interesting stuff? I don't want to talk about my hypoxic chamber. I don't want to talk about that. Talk about that some other time. I don't want to talk about these guys. Well, maybe there's some more questions. Let's see. Anybody have any questions here? Somebody asked some questions. Let's see. For your information, guys, Horse I Love with George Anthony Barnstorming ran second, race 8 on Sunday by a head. Okay. So I wonder if George Anthony is still
I spoke to George yesterday or the day before, and he had a detached retina, so he had to go in for surgery, and he's doing fine. And I told him to come on the podcast again, and he said that when he gets a little better, he'll get in contact with you, Larry.
all right.
You know what I'm going to do, Larry? I'm going to lower my air conditioner. Maybe that's it. I'll be right
Well, maybe
back.
that's it, because does it go on and off?
Yeah.
Yeah, well then,
That could be.
all right, shut it off and see what happens. Well, don't
All right.
shut it off, but lower it or something.
All right.
See what happens. I got to buy Joe a stand for that phone. We have to buy him a computer.
I'm still waiting for mine.
We got to do it. How's your phone? What's your phone on? A stand or in between?
Me?
bits? Yeah.
No, he has a computer now. Eddie moved up in the world.
I got
You
a
gotta-
laptop.
Oh.
I got a laptop, big thing.
Oh, good. Okay. So now we just got to get Joe.
A
I have
laptop.
one here. I gave it to somebody. I don't know who I gave it to. I got to get another one. I got to send it to Joe.
Any better?
Yeah, we don't hear the
Yeah.
noise.
It's hot in here. Put that air conditioner back on. will you?
Yeah. It's getting a little stuffy.
Is it any better?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
But I got the air conditioner on every week. I don't understand why.
Who knows?
But I don't know, but
Maybe since you got it fixed.
the noise is gone. Okay, here's a picture. The last party I ever had, I used to give a party 1 or 2 a year and have 300-400 people come. And then as the years went on, my mailing list got smaller and smaller and smaller. And then I had to include friends, family, relative, everybody, just to fill the room, because the room held 400 or 500 people. So the last party I gave, I contacted as many of the kids that were still alive as I could that lived on my block, that we all grew up together. And this is the crew. These are all the guys I grew up with. Now, the guy, that's me in the middle with the sunglasses on. The guy on my right next to me with the glasses, that's the guy that went with me on my robbery when Detective Burns beat the shit out of me and threw me in the tombs for 2 days and 2 nights with a cracked skull, concussion, 7 broken ribs, and everything else, because I wouldn't sign the confession that implicated him. They want to know who my partner was, and I wouldn't give him up. And that's how I got all busted up. So that's Joe. His name is Joe Stump. The guy all the way over on the left with the black jacket on, that's Vinny Hogan. That's the guy that became a police officer. He became chief of detectives in New York City. And that was the guy that when he retired, they wanted him to be the racing commissioner. And he turned it down and gave it to the guy right underneath him who retired the same time. I forgot his name, but he was whoever the racing commission was at that time. I should know his name, and I do, but I forgot. But maybe these pills I'm taking, maybe in 2 months I'll remember. So anyway, that was Vinny, and how it went was when he called up. I won't go through the whole story, but when he called up and he says to his underling that took the job, Vinny didn't take the job because he lived out in Long Island, and he would have had to report to Bloom Street where the Racing Commission office was, and he lived all the way out in Long Island, so he didn't take it. So they gave him the job as head of security and mutuals at Saratoga, Belmont, and Aqueduct racetracks. So, and his underling took the job as the commissioner of harness racing. So when he found out through my sister that I was barred, and it was like maybe 8 or 10 years I was out of it, he told me to call him. So I called him, and I flew in from California, and I went to see him, and he called up his friend who was the racing commissioner, and he said to him, he said, listen, he says, what do I have to do for a guy? Do I need a renewal or a new membership, original. So anyway, the guy says, well, who's it for? He says, Larry Rolla. And he says, are you crazy? And he threw a typewriter out the window. He abused one of the investigators. He did this, he said. And Vinny said to him, just send the fucking papers over. And he sent the papers over, and I filled them out, and I got my license. And that was the problem I had when I went to New Jersey, because Zanzuki wouldn't give me the license because he says, okay, he says, you're reinstated. And the reason my Jersey license was suspended was because of reciprocity, because New York took it away. So when I applied in New Jersey, Zanzuki says, all right, he says that you were reinstated. Send me a copy of the hearing that you had, and I'll give you your license. But there was no hearing, and I didn't know how to get around it, but I figured how I got around it, and I wound up getting my license. So anyway, What happened here now?
I don't know. There we go.
So anyway, that was that was all the kids I grew up with. The guy on the bottom row with the blue jacket, that's Rocco Ritigliano. His family owned Rockaway Fuel, and he was the wealthy one of the whole crew. The guy next to him was Anthony Scabarisi, my next door neighbor, right in the next house. The guy on the back with the black jacket was Tommy Giacalone. And the other guy on my right, the guy with the white hair next to me, that's Billy Clatch. They were the only ones that were alive on that block. And that block, we had just as many girls. It was just a good block. And anyway, that's Vinnie Hogan. Vinnie Hogan sadly passed away. I didn't even know it, but Anthony called me up and he told me that he had Alzheimer's really bad and he finally passed away. He's a really good guy. Good guy and good friend. Okay. Did you ever, Anthony, did you watch the Stu Unger story I told you?
I didn't see it yet. No, I got to watch it.
All right. I think I told his story a few times, so
Yeah.
we won't go there. Let's see. See, when your brother when you oh, that's the race where see the guy holding the horse's head? Well, that's me driving him with the colors on, and on the other side holding the horse's head is Ralph Gigani. That's this fellow's son. That's Ralph Gigani's father, this guy right here. And that's the guy that flew down from New York the day the horse was in the race.
He brought you some poultice.
Yeah.
We'll put you in a poultice.
Yeah. Well,
I'm in that picture, right, Larry?
what picture?
The one you just put up.
This one?
Yeah.
Where are you, on the end? Oh, you're right
next,
there next to Larry.
Right next to
Oh
Larry.
yeah, that's you. That's you there. Yeah. That's Eddie standing next to me, right? And that's Bernie on the other end.
Yeah.
That's Bernie on one end. You're on the other end, and that's
Right.
Ralph in the middle. Yeah. If I didn't win that race, I might have been in the Atlantic Ocean, right at some.
You would have been at the Bon Vivant.
I would have been.
You would have been with Luca Brasi.
Yeah.
Someday, maybe if we advertise no girls allowed, we'll do a story on the Bon Vivant.
Oh no.
Oh, you can't do it now. We can't do it. You'll get in trouble.
Eddie, wasn't it like on Wednesday night or something? They had like audition nights where they would get girls and they would just audition them.
Yeah. Then I had John Gilmore. He auditioned. Sepp auditioned. I had Danny Cabello.
What they audition for?
Trip.
For dancers.
Dances. Oh, laugh. Sepp had his boxers on down to his knees. Oh, laugh like a son.
I was at the Concord. I never went. The only nights I went there was Saturday night, the time when I took over the whole place. But them nights with you guys, I didn't go. I went to the Concord. Okay, someday we'll talk about this guy, my involvement with him. And we'll talk about this guy, the guy who saved my life. We'll talk about this guy, the guy who gave me $250,000 and he didn't have to. We'll talk about this guy who had a farm, and the guy I used. What was the name of the restaurant, Joe? I used to meet him at right off the park.
Venezia de Notte.
Right. In fact, the girl. Well, I won't get into that. Okay.
He had a farm. His name was Old McDonald.
I'll send you this picture.
Which one?
I'm going to send Eddie this picture. Eddie's in it.
Oh, okay.
Okay, what else can we talk about?
This is what you're supposed to do during the week.
Yeah, but I don't do it.
All right.
All right. You see this guy here? Let me tell you about this guy here. This guy here, he was the one that saved Alan Seawall 1,000 times. Whenever Alan needed money real bad, he would see Chinky lived down there, and he came to the racetrack every day. He was in his 80s and 90s, and he was an unbelievable guy. And I think he died when he was 103, I think. But he was with us every night, every day at the racetrack. And whenever Alan would get in trouble, which is just about every day, it was Chinky that helped him out. And he was one of the old wise guys. And whenever anybody went to Florida, they would always pay their respects to him. He's a good guy. Someday when we have more time, we're going to talk about my friend and your friend, everybody's friend. That's Rene Poulin.
Rene Poulin.
Yeah. Really good guy. And see that picture in between us? That's his wife. His wife had cancer really bad. And by the time I got to him, by the time I found out, this was his wife. She was beautiful.
Mm.
By the time I found out, it was too late for her. She had passed away, because I would have sent it to Dr. Burton. And when she passed away, Renee was a single parent with these 3 little kids. And that's a story. It's not in my book, but what I did was I went to his house, and it was this girl here on the left with the long hair. And she filled me in on everything that happened, and gave me, along with Renee, permission to tell the whole story, which is not in my book, but I think I did a podcast on it.
Yeah, you did.
And I think Renee was supposed to come on, and Renee just didn't. The last minute, he says, Larry, I never did anything like this before. I says, no problem. If you're not comfortable, don't come on. Anthony, I did do a podcast on what.
Yes, you did, Larry. Yeah.
It was. I hate to, but it's a good story, and that's the problem I have with the movie, because there's probably 15 or 20 really good stories. Some really good. Some really good stories, and some really, really bad stories. Some where my life was hanging by a thread, and some where I was able to help somebody else or save a lot of lives. And I didn't put them in the book because they couldn't verify these stories. And I want
good stories, just bad situations.
I wanted book stories that they could easily verify, because it was going out to California. So that's what I did. And that's the problem with making the movie. A lot of these stories are left out that are good stories and really powerful stories. The story with Renee, just his story alone, what happened to him when his wife died, could be a movie, and be a real good movie. If you got somebody to write a real good writer, write a screenplay on everything that happened to him, it could be a real good movie. And it involves bad guys and good guys and situation.
Renee for a while.
What's that?
I was really close with Renee for a long time.
He's a really good guy. He's a good guy.
I was with him. A matter of fact, I was with him the time when his the daughter with the long hair. She's the one that she went up to the kitchen table and she pulled on the tablecloth, and a hot cup of coffee went all over her face, neck, and body, and we rushed her to the hospital because she had poison from the coffee grinds. Oh my God! And they thought she was going to get scarred for life. And no, they skin graft her and everything. No, that was a disheartening story there too. And he came out to Long Island a lot of times for New Year's Eve and with his family over my friend John's house. And no, we cut bread a lot. No, and then I trained a lot of his horses for him while he was, going through a lot of things with his wife and stuff. And
he was an excellent driver. He was another guy.
Oh, unbelievable.
He was really, really good. He's from Canada, French Canadian, really good horseman, good everything. He was just.
Well, he started with Norman, right? To place.
Yeah.
Yep, he worked with Norman.
And then he got caught in that swindle, Tubing Horses Aqueduct in Belmont, and that's right. What he got caught up in that sweep. And that's when milkshaking was legal. They never had nothing about milk.
Yeah.
But I guess it was the tubing and everything else. But he got caught in that whole gambling sweep with Louis the Rock and the Pebble.
Dave
and all
Pebble,
all of them guys.
Bobby Gold and all the other
crews. And that's when that whole anyway, that's an unbelievable story.
Yeah.
That's why if my story could ever be made into a TV series like it was supposed to be made in the beginning, all of these things would the whole episode could have been his story, because it's an unbelievable story. He's really a good guy too. So all right, it's been an hour and a half, and
I gotta go anyway.
Yeah,
I gotta get going.
Did your cousin should be calling anytime. Anyway, that's it. Next week, when we have more time, I'll get into this whole thing with this hypoxic stall, everything that it took to make it what it is. And the one horse that we sold it to that won the Hamiltonian. And then the horses that as I was building that, I put in and I raced them. These were my last two races with Search Mission and Willistown at the Meadowlands Racetrack. And these are the two horses that I had stabled in this barn that I built. And I believe that was the first start for both horses, I think, in a year. I think this was the first start for this horse in a year. If you notice, I had different colors because when I got bought in '84, my brother took over my colors. He took over everything. I never thought I was coming back. And then when I did get licensed back again, I had to get new colors. So they were my new colors, blue and tan, I think.
Blue and gray.
Blue and gray, whatever.
Yeah, you had the purple and gold. They were nice colors, man.
Yeah.
Purple and gold. I have a picture of that.
Yeah, that's the one that
you showed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you showed it in the circle. Yeah, in the
that's the one with me in the picture.
What outfit you do?
Yeah.
I think you're the only guy in the horse business that ever changed their colors.
Yeah, I didn't think so either.
You know that? He's the only guy in the horse business that changed their colors.
You know, that's true. I do it. I did a lot of firsts.
Yeah.
I had the only cane pace winner that was free-legged, maiden, and supplemented to the cane pace.
You got your colors, Joe?
Yeah, I still fit in them.
Yeah. You still fit in them? I don't think I'll fit in mine. I was like 140 pounds.
All right, let's see if this.
Any comments, Larry, so you could go, get nobody in trouble?
Yeah, well, let's just go down to where I left off. I don't know where the hell we left off.
Well, a lot of Erics.
We left off at 10 after 8.
Yeah.
All right, how about we'll start off here. You got George Anthony. Yeah, okay, we did that one. This one is Sundance. Hit the like, ring, subscribe. This one, Larry, how's Buddy? Buddy's in good shape. I just clipped him today. Okay, Angelique, hello, Cheech. Starting new love affairs. Dave, Guy, Joe, did you ever race at the Syracuse Mile?
Yes, I did. I won New York Sire Stakes there. Took a track record for 2-year-olds with a horse named Westcon. Hervé drove him for me.
Larry, tell them the story about the guy you got in a fight with when D kept crying, yelling, "No, please don't fight" in Monticello.
D-Dot.
D. I got to ask
D
you,
Macedonia. What?
I got to ask your brother if he worked for me at the same time D worked for me. So when your brother comes on,
Yeah, I don't think he did. Because I remember when Dee was working with you, because she used to come to my barn all the time. We used to hang out. I got pretty close with Dee. In fact, Carmine, I was really close with Carmine. And I just dug this picture up. That's him holding Neverly Noble in one of the races he won.
that's your brother.
No, that's Carmine, Macedonia.
Oh, come on,
Carmine.
that's
Yeah,
the kid
that's
who died
Carmine.
young, right?
Yeah. We shared an apartment together in Liberty Bell.
What a good kid he was. How did he
Oh,
die?
he was a great guy. I think cancer.
What a good
Yeah,
kid.
he was really good guy. We had a lot of fun together.
And D, the girl here that Sundance is talking about, she was D Macedonia, and
Yeah, her brother. That was Carmine. They were brother and sisters.
Yeah, she worked with me forever, and whenever I would get upset, or you could ask her, she would cry. She never wanted to see me get mad or upset.
Yeah.
And I had a fight one day with a guy, and for me to get to the guy, you know how Monticello was, where they had the one barn, then they had the the other barn, the grand,
Yeah.
He was on the top barn, and he was yelling stuff down, and he said something stupid, and I yelled back and something like, "Just stop, boys! I'm gonna have to come up there." And D started crying, and he said it again. So I ran up the hill, and she cried and cried and cried. And then Joe Knapp, my cousin Knapp.
Yeah.
So anyway, I get up there, and this guy's name he's probably listening, Bruce. His name was Bruce Kaufman. And he was a big guy. He's big. He's tall and big guy. He wasn't a driver. He was a trainer. And anyway, I get to the top there, and I hit him, and he goes down, and I jump on top of him. And my cousin Joe Knapp, he comes running up the hill, and he's pulling me off him. He's stopping me, and he's stopping. He's holding my hands from coming down. And anyway,
I thought he would have jumped in and nailed the guy.
But he's anyway. Dee cried and cried and cried. She would cry even if I get mad. Whenever I have these temper tantrums, she would start crying. I had to be very careful around Dee. She would just cry. She never wanted to see me get mad.
I see Gracie a lot, Joe. Larry. I see Gracie a lot.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
How do you see her?
She works right over me. Huh? She works for Nissan.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where I get my cars from. Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, her daughter got married, and she got grandkids.
She has two twin kids that are great baseball players.
Yes,
I think they're in their late teens now.
Yeah, I see her. I see her a lot, but she retired from Nissan. I keep in touch with her, but we had a lot of fun up Monticello. She's a nice kid, man. Crazy.
Sundance, right, Larry. How about when you took that lady to dinner at Monticello? I think Gotti showed up. You thought they were going to throw him out. Instead, it was you. Yeah, I told her. So I'll tell it again real quick. I was having dinner. I had a horse to bet, so I was barred from all the racetracks and everything. But I figure I could sneak in there, and I did. And I'm having dinner with this girl, and when you look in the dining room, and when you look out, they have the glass partition all the way down at the bottom of the glass, and you see out onto the track. But you can also see reflections out of the glass. So anyway, we're having dinner, and who comes walking down the steps but John Gotti and three other guys? I forget who they were. So he says, "Larry, you got anything?" I said, "No, John, I got nothing. I didn't want to say nothing because he had four guys with him, and he bet a lot of money. So, and I didn't want to. The guy gave me his horse. He says, "Don't tell nobody." So I didn't want to make the horse the favorite. So I says, "No, John, I don't have anybody." And he continues. I said, "If I hear anything, I'll let you know." And he continues walking down 2 or 3 levels, and they all seat. The 4 of them sit down. So I'm looking at the track, and through the reflection in the glass, I could see on top, the top level, that they were 3 guys, and they were all dressed in suits and everything. And I says to the girl, I says, "You see in the room?" I says, "Don't turn around. Just look at the glass. You see them guys up on top through the reflection?" I says, "They're probably state police and FBI or whatever, and they're going to probably come down and throw John out." And sure enough, a couple of minutes later, here they come. They come walking down, and where they stop? My table. "Larry Rolla, yep. Come on." They threw me out. I says, "Can I pay the check?" "Don't worry about it." And they threw me out. John Gotti stayed there with 3 guys that probably killed 100 guys, and they threw me out for failing to cooperate during an investigation. Anyway, okay, that's it. That's it. I'm tired. The sound is gone now, and it probably was from the air conditioning, Joe. Because
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I don't.
No, that's all right.
I'm sorry. No.
They just fixed the air conditioner this week. Maybe they did something, make it louder or whatever, but I didn't notice.
Who
because
knows? It's
it
gone.
kept going on and off, So
Something wrong with the coil, something on the roof, and they just fixed it. So maybe that's
Okay.
why.
Yeah.
But
good.
I didn't think it was me. I mean, I sit here every week.
Yeah.
Oh, there's no sound. There's no more noise now.
No, but to everybody out there, I apologize.
So anyway, Jimmy Christie, if you're listening, send me that song somehow, and I might even have it. I got to look through all the CDs. I must have 20,000 CDs, and now in my car they don't make CD players no more.
No.
No.
They don't have them. So I put all my CDs away. I have to look out because I got a couple of albums, Jimmy, with you singing. And maybe that song "Sinatra's a Champ" is on one of them, and I'm gonna find that box and look for it. In the meantime, Jimmy, if you have it, send it to me, but you can't send it email because anything over 2 minutes, it won't go through.
Well, like I said, Larry, send it to me. I'll see what I can do with it. Even if you get it through email, send it to email through to me.
Well, I got it through email, but it says it cannot be played.
That's all right. Send it to me.
All right.
Give it a shot.
Okay. I'll
all right,
do
guys.
that.
I'm gonna go.
What's the story for next week, Larry? Thursday. Freddie's coming on.
Freddie's gonna be on.
No. Freddie's not coming on.
So we still gonna have the show Thursday.
We got to do Thursday. I gotta figure out what we're gonna talk about, or maybe go into 1 or 2 pictures and tell the whole story. I'll try to find something that's interesting. And if you guys have stories,
yeah, we got to figure something out because it's
we go to sleep.
They're getting bored of us.
Yeah.
Well,
thank God Eddie's back to.
Yeah, I know. Take up the slack here.
Well, hey, Larry, I sent you some stuff there that you should just look at and see if you can develop some type of dialogue on the stuff that I said about horse racing, about all sorts of shit,
the problem? The problem is me. I'm the point.
Take more of those pills.
I don't do it. Other people that have these podcasts, that's all they do is they research, they line everything up. I show up here at 10 minutes to 8. I send everybody the link and everybody comes on. What are we going to talk about? I don't know.
Larry,
I think Thursday we'll go on strike.
Yeah,
You want to go on strike Thursday?
we'll go on strike.
No, I wish some of these guys with that have the comments would ask about. Why can't they ask me a question about this guy or this guy or this?
They don't know these guys.
or questions about them, questions about these guys.
Because most people are normal people. They're not psychopaths.
Right,
like
they're
us.
not like us, right?
Why can't they ask me about
Burrow.
that? How did I get that picture? What? Ask me questions about this guy. Ask me questions about this guy. If I ever met Nicky Barnes, if I ever did this and what I did and how I did it.
They don't know who that is. They'll think it's Stymie
They don't
from the
know
Little
these
Rascals.
people.
They'll think it's Stymie from the Little Rascals.
Yeah.
They don't know who it is.
Oh, geez.
Larry, did you ever email that guy that in the service, the one that when you talked about a couple of weeks ago, that he was in Vietnam, and you were talking about him. He wrote you a letter.
I don't remember. What
Those pills ain't working.
Yeah, well, no, you got to wait a couple of weeks, then he'll remember.
You got to try a new pre-race here.
I just started taking it today. I took one at 5 o'clock.
Hey, give me a few weeks. Come on.
I got a 3 months supply.
You don't remember that about the guy that was in the service? The Army wrote you a nice letter.
I remember something about that.
Yeah,
I barely remember.
And I told you get in touch with him, and he said he was going to come on the podcast.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember something about that.
I don't remember. I remember this. See this is I got a full page write up, and I forgot what newspaper it was, and you could tell by the print that it was from the 1960s, early 60s. And I got a full page write-up, a whole page. And my father kept it in a scrapbook. And that's how I found it. And the interviewer went to, they wrote about me. And then he went to Stanley Dancer and Houghton and Schulte, who were the leading guys there. And this is what Dancer says when they asked about me. Stanley Dancer says that Rolla shows a lot of promise at this early stage of his career. It was the first time I ever raced there. I had a provisional license, and Houghton says Houghton likes Larry's coolness, which represents an asset rarely found in young drivers. And Schulte said bluntly declares, all I know is that you can't give that boy an inch in a close horse race. And that's because the last 2 races I won, I beat him by a length, by a nose, right at the wire, both races. And I got that right up. And anyway, that's it. You know what I'm going to talk about? I'm going to talk about this next week. I'm going to ask Sharman. I'm going to go see Sharman this week, and I'm going to see if I can get 1 or 2 of the acts that were on my show. And this is the show I opened in Kissimmee, Florida, when I left California. And
you should have them, Larry. You showed some of that before.
You did a whole show on it, Larry.
I did.
Yeah.
This was my showroom. This was it. This was the stage. This was it. This was the balcony up there.
It was nice.
And yeah, it was great. Anyway, that's it.
That's a wrap.
That's a wrap.
I'll
Okay.
try to think of some stories.
Yeah, think of some stories and hope we didn't bore anybody tonight.
We bored everybody tonight.
Yeah.
Larry, remember Sally the Sheik?
What?
Remember Sally the Sheik?
Sally the Sheik?
Yeah.
No.
Look him up.
Sally the Sheik?
Yep.
Well, you want to tell me who it was?
He was one of the most 10 wanted men.
Well, how would I know him?
Well, I figured you know all those other guys. I thought maybe you knew him.
Sally.
You knew the other 9.
Everybody gets these things except me. The Sheik. What's
Look
that
him
mean,
up.
Anthony?
Huh?
Well, Anthony, what are you laughing? What's that mean, Sally? What Joe say?
He says you knew
You knew the other 9.
The other 9 who?
the other 9 guys who killed him.
Eddie says he's one of the most 10 wanted guys.
Oh,
And you said, how would I know?
Okay.
And I said, because you knew the other 9.
Okay.
All right, guys, listen, I got to run.
All right. Go ahead. Go ahead. Anthony. Help
All
your
right,
brother
we'll
so he's on Thursday.
Yeah,
He said he had a
I'll-
couple of things he wanted to talk about, so maybe
Yeah.
he can liven up the show. We're also
All right.
going to have, I also got to call Mario Marcelino.
Mario, yeah.
Mario's going to come on. And
Is he?
Oh, you spoke to him?
yeah, no, I didn't. I got to call him. They went away for the weekend, and I got a call tomorrow.
Is he coming on?
Yeah, Mario's going to come on.
Oh, great.
Oh, good. When?
But they told me that he has trouble speaking. You know, I'm not even sure. Do you?
Well,
you
he's
guys-
confined to the wheelchair, Larry. So it's it's tough. Yeah.
But they said that he can't talk for long periods or something.
No, because he loses his oxygen. You know. Yeah.
Well, how did he get hurt? I don't know. I got to ask his wife.
He was playing with his kids, and you know those big round beach balls, those
Yeah.
big, and he dove on top of it and rolled. And when he rolled, he snapped his neck, and he got paralyzed.
Oh, jeez.
We used to watch the Three Stooges together in Brandywine.
Me and him, like I said, him, and Vinny Oragema shared a tack room in Roosevelt Raceway and Yonkers. And
Geez, I hope I remember tomorrow. Maybe I'll
call him.
I work for Mario.
No, I got to call. I got to talk to his wife. They asked me to call. I'm gonna call. Maybe when I go
down once in a while, you know, I always give him a shout.
I used to go out with him every weekend. Him and his wife.
I go to his house and we used to eat every Sunday because we lived in the tax.
I can't get him on for this Thursday. Yeah, I gotta remember to call. Maybe when I go downstairs now, I'll have my Haagen-Dazs ice cream on the waffle, and I'll take 3 more. Maybe I'll take 5 of them memory pills.
Take a half a bottle.
Yeah.
Well, what I'll do is when I go to work about 9 o'clock, I'll call you and remind you.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, do that. Yeah, and that's good because he'll come on Thursday, and then we can. I got to ask his wife is it all right if I ask him them personal questions. I don't know if they want to talk about that stuff or not. I'm not good at that shit.
No, just talk about harness racing and all
Yeah,
this.
But I'd like to find out what happened to him, what was wrong, and how he's handling it. That gotta be tough. I mean,
It's been over 30 years.
He's they're a great couple. Mario.
Yes. They go down to Myrtle Beach every year. They go to Myrtle Beach. They go South Carolina. They go.
They made the best out of a bad situation.
All over. Yes. Yeah, I spoke to Mario one time for about an hour. We laughed about Yonkers and we were talking about old times and Bronx, and it was good. He's a good egg, man. It's a shame.
Yeah, he's a real good egg.
I just got a message just now. I looked at my phone. one of the nicest people in the world and a real good friend. Her name is Phyllis. And she wrote me a text just now, listening to everything. And she says that I better take two pills at a time. And she's probably right. I should have Phyllis come on one time. She's a beautiful, beautiful girl and helped me out a lot. Just being around. She's just a good kid. Just a good kid. I can't say enough good things.
All right, when you come to visit me at Belmont?
What?
When are you going to come visit me at Belmont?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know.
He can't drive that far. He just goes to California in snowstorms.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's too easy for him.
What are you kidding?
Do you know that in 1 month? Well, I really skipped a week. I think I drove from here to California, and California back here, and 2 weeks later I drove to California and drove back here, and both times with serious health conditions. And one time, the last time in blizzards, when they had the whole United States was one big blizzard.
Right.
And
then when you get to New Jersey, you got T-boned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A mile from my house, you get
as soon
to
as
the
I got
park.
back, I took my dog to the dog park, and the girl went through a stop sign and demolished me, my car, and my dog.
Oh, shit.
Anyway, all right, guys. Thank you.
All right.
All right, Larry.
I'm going to try to get. All right.
Mario.
I'll call you in the morning, Larry.
Okay. All right. Good night, guys.
About 9 o'clock. I know you
Good night,
need
Larry.
to sleep.
Let me try to.
Joe,
figure
take care.
Take care.
Joe, how was your weekend with the
care.
ice cream? Good?
It was pretty good this week, yeah. Supposed to rain this
Memorial
weekend, though.
Day?
This week is supposed to rain.
And
60.
Joe, your father is doing better?
Yeah, he's back into rehab now.
Good.
Yeah, thank you for asking.
Okay. All
I'll
right.
talk to you another week, Joe.
All right.
Tell Anthony to send you that thing I sent him.
Yeah, I was just going to tell you that. Okay.
All right, buddy.
Nighty night.
Larry, take care. I'll call you tomorrow about 9.
Goodbye. Joe, I'll see you, Joe.